if there's a time, y'all go on for water. I mean, if the ref's calling for water,
yeah, absolutely.
They're gonna TD's gonna move into the pen when
they'll tell you. You'll check in with your coach.
well, I've already asked for to move once.
If you're gonna reserve up, then you'll step out here with your coach and wait for the time. Cool.
Yes, sir.
All right. Hey, gentlemen here, right?
Sir.
Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind.
So I'm not counting cigarettes. I'm just going to be kind of here in the middle with my kid.
Good job.
Great goal, Alex. That was a great way to regulate the game. Your jersey, Archie.
Yeah, dude, that'd be awesome.
Gotta get this. Okay. Are we gonna be able to hear each other? Can you hear me through the headset?
I think so.
Yeah. All right, we are live here in Austin, Texas with the Texas High School Rugby Championships. This will be Cy-Fair Rugby Club against Woodlands varsity here. My name is Kevin McKittrick. We're out here at Nixon Lane, and I am joined by, introduce yourself.
I'm Griffin Mott, play for St. Thomas High School, going to Baylor next year to continue my playing rugby career.
I'm sure the Baylor Bears are happy to hear that. We've got a lot of this talent that's going to be flowing into the college scene coming up. Should be a super exciting day between both teams here. And we have a sevens tournament going on behind us here, so whistles are going to be confusing left and right. So off to the start, Griffin's got a good background on both these teams here. Why don't you give us a quick run through of what we should expect going into this game?
So just as I'm speaking, Keone Francis had a great run coming from Cy-Fair. Cy-Fair has been a D1 program for about 3 years. They were D2 before that. And they really built up their program a lot through Kenneth Hepburn. He has a really good coaching staff with him. The players are really dedicated, and I mean, they come to play every single time they step on the field. The Woodlands have been very dominant for a few years. A number of All-Americans and HP players have been coming up from them. Great coaching staff from Phil Beck. A lot of the guys are very dedicated, been playing a long time, a lot of experience, and they just have great depth.
Cool, it's absolutely good to hear, and I think a lot of our viewers, I mean, we have a bunch of family and friends here, but I'm sure we have a lot of colleges keeping an eye on who's coming their way. Coming up through the high school system, you probably know a little better than I would here. Are we seeing numbers increase? I mean, we've seen level of play rising across Texas, across the U.S. as rugby gains traction. How's the high school scene looking?
Oh, it's looking absolutely amazing. Just the ability for players to come out every single year and increase their numbers from teams, it just makes it so much more competitive. It shows that Rugby Texas is one of the fastest growing programs in the nation for any sports.
Absolutely, and that's exciting news for all of us that have been tooling around in men's club for a while. I had a wildly mediocre career, kept a lot of players hydrated through my time. It was impressive, if I do say so myself. So back to the game at hand. We're seeing a lot of good ball movement right off the bat. These packs, size advantage, it's looking like Woodlands have a little bit more umph going through. Is that just my eyes? How's their pack been performing through the year here?
Well, the pack is really being led by by Cipriano Save and Alex Rayton. Cipi Save is a tight head prop for the Woodlands, been playing for a long time. I've had the pleasure and displeasure of playing with him. It's usually not nice when you're on the other side of the field against him. Alex Rayton's a great leader in the scrum, pushed by Stein Alpers in the back at 8, who's really come up in the past few years as a really dominant player.
It's good to see. We're gonna, rough scrum going in. I think we've got a lot of adrenaline flying in.
We have advantage to Cy-Fair. Woodlands backed up in their own 22.
And of course, if you'd like, I can walk us through, but looks like a lot of your friends are out here. If you want to explain to a lot of our first-time viewers that are coming in, that are just family and friends, what's happening here. So we had a bit of a penalty. Oh, sorry about that. We had a penalty, and this is going to be one of the restarts that you'll see throughout the game, as players will be kicking out of touch here. Can you give a quick run-through to our new-to-rugby folks what they're doing?
So right now we're having a penalty go to Cy-Fair. They're about to have they're about to have a line out going towards them. I missed the penalty that what the Woodlands did, but they have the advantage in the Woodlands 22, so they're looking to score.
Absolutely. So what we're seeing here, for those of you who are just now tuning in and are new to rugby, is the players are going in for a line-out. A lot of the restarts in rugby like to come back to give both teams a chance to regain the ball here. Now, whichever team has the line-out kick, they're going to, looks like we're going back into touch. Oh, whistle goes up.
Ball to Cy-Fair. No, actually, Woodlands are getting the advantage. Yeah, it's a free kick for the Woodlands.
So again, given the high wind here and how things are looking, we're going to see a lot of kicks trying to go out of touch. Of course, they're vying for field position to put themselves in a good place for the line out. Woodlands obviously feeling comfortable in their line out because they're going straight out every time.
Great kick against the wind by Evan Conlon.
Absolutely, that makes it real dangerous. That would come in, that gives Cy-Fair the chance to recover and attack. But Woodlands doing well to keep the ball out. Now we're seeing some interesting line-out movement from Woodlands here.
Alex Ritten recovers the ball from the line-out.
Good ball movement on the outside. Little ball bobbling, but whistle goes up. That looks like it will be a knock-on, and we will have a scrum down back towards Cy-Fair. Oh, sorry, that is a long arm.
Offsides. Free kick to Cy-Fair.
And that is an unlucky kick. Definitely nerves coming through early on here. This is for the state championship, so a lot of these players are going to be on edge going into this. Expect the referee to be hard on his whistle to keep the pace down, keep everyone safe.
Looks like the line-out's going to Cy-Fair. Keone Francis goes up and regains the ball for Cy-Fair.
Now tell me a bit about who we should be watching for out of Cy-Fair during this attack.
Well, their top player is for sure Keone Francis. He's been playing there for the past 4 years. I played against him every year. He's been on Cy-Fair, and he's always just been a dominant factor on offense and defense, the way he's able to run the ball and communicate with his team. He's just a really dominant and great player.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, one man can't handle things like that. Little mishandling by Cy-Fair. Looks like that Woodlands defense is giving him footsteps sneaking in here. And Cy-Fair is having a little bit of trouble with the pressure.
There's a knock-on by the Woodlands, so the ball is going to go to Cy-Fair on their own 5.
Even though they have the ball, this is not the place they want to be, especially with how this Woodlands defense has been coming up hard and fast on them. They're definitely feeling the pressure. This big Woodlands pack looking to dominate right here, regain control, and dot down that first try of the day. These scrums have been having trouble getting going.
Oh, it's a free kick to Cy-Fair.
You hate to see
Woodlands
that.
collapsing the scrum.
Yep. Again, I think that's that nerves coming through tournament time, into the year. Everybody really wants this win. Bit of drive for both these teams, both Houston area teams, so surely they've seen each other through the season, correct?
Yeah. They've played each other once before. The Woodlands came out on top. It was a pretty dominant win early on the season, so I think Cy-Fair is really coming out and know what their opponents are, know what to expect from their opponents. So I don't think they're taking this game lightly. I know they've been practicing hard all week.
Absolutely, and I think most of our people that are tuning in here that aren't familiar with rugby are used to the concept of reviewing film and seeing upcoming teams like that. Is there a lot of that going on in the high school team, or are we just practicing to play our own game and seeing?
No, absolutely. Film is absolutely being used in this day and age. A lot of the teams record their own games, and usually find one day of the week to kind of go over and watch film, see what they need to do. And it helps a lot, especially if you're playing league matches. As I said, that's a great run by Cipriano Save, running over a few Sci-Fair Warriors. Looks like it's a pick from Ian Martinez going in for the try for the Woodlands.
And that is going to be first blood of the tournament here. Sci-Fair doesn't like to see this, but they are far from out of it. That'll put the score to Woodlands 5, Sci-Fair 0 with the attempt at the kick.
Nice try by Ian Martinez, set up by Cipriano Save, just absolutely bulldozing through defenders.
Yeah, Sippy looks like one of those guys you don't like to see on the other side of the ball. It's never a good feeling when someone that big gets a full head of steam behind him.
Well, when an 18-year-old is 6'2" and 310 playing in high school, it's never really a good sign. Conversion coming from Evan Conlon, who's also an All-American, plays on the Texas HP roster. Very dominant player, very young.
And it looks like it goes a little bit wide. That was not an easy kick to make. Hard to see from the camera work here, but there is a high wind coming through. I'm sure it's catching up in the microphone. So that will keep the score 5-0 in favor of the Woodlands here. All right, so Griffin just tagged out for Nick. Nick, why don't you introduce yourself to anybody who hasn't heard of you so far?
Hello, my name is Nick Marsko. Formerly played for the Katy Barbarians. Looking to go up north, play some rugby for Penn State, and then here to commentate a good game we got going on here. Woodlands Sci-Fair, very physical, very aggressive.
Absolutely, we're off to a good start. Again, we were talking a bit about jitters. Now, coming from the high school program, going into college, knowing that you're continuing your rugby career, can you talk to us a little bit about what this feels like, what this means to the players out there? This is a huge tournament. I mean, we're talking Texas-wide, D1, high school. What's it feel like for these guys that are vying for their chance to continue?
Yeah, I think you just got to, go out there and give it all you got. This is the finals, so might as well play your hardest and at least try and get recruited, because college rugby is an excellent experience. I think if you're really passionate about the game, you should always move on to the next level. And we do have a lot of potential on these two teams here.
Yeah, Griffin and I spoke earlier. There are a huge number of All-Americans and high-performance players that are out there right now. And we've seen some dynamite moves from both teams here, but it's looking like we're seeing a lot of individual effort and some struggles to come together as a unit. And as I say that, Sci-Fair does a good job to link up out on the wing.
Looks like we had a penalty before.
Yep, still going to be Sci-Fair's ball. Again, they're going to want to take advantage of this before this Woodlands defense sets back up. Oh, and a big hit stick coming through. And we can see in just how frantic all of this rucking is coming through. You're seeing hands, legs, heads, arms everywhere. Everyone is just scrambling to stop this Sci-Fair offense.
This is Sci-Fair's favorite part of the game. They've always been a very physical team, and when they see that try line, they get try hungry and always try plowing it through. It's good work on the Woodlands on the defensive side. Way to hold them. Picked by Keone Francis. No good.
Absolutely. It looks to me like Sci-Fair is really wanting to just get their big boys to slam this through. But given the size of that Woodlands pack, it seems like they might want to consider, a little extracurricular going on real early. Woodlands player good to break it up. And that'll be a penalty again towards Sci-Fair. Get a bunch of young guys coming out to a field like this. Everyone's excited. Everyone's through the roof right now. We're probably going to see a couple more incidents like that. Sometimes a hit feels a little more personal than it should, and sometimes people lose their cool a little bit.
That's right.
Not the nature of the game, but Woodland's doing a great job to break that up before it turns into something worse. And Sci-Fair still running into traffic here.
Got a ruck at the 5. Good pick by Keone. About a foot short. Woodlands holding him up nicely. Ball pops
Oh,
out.
it's a loose ball. That was good to control it back in.
There
And
we
they
go.
dot it down, just brute forcing a try through there.
5 points to Cy-Fair Warriors.
That'll even it out. 5-5 Woodlands and Cy-Fair. Strong, strong effort by Cy-Fair, just continuing to slam it into that Woodlands defense. And again, high winds are going to make this a tricky kick.
Just chaos out there. Just a bunch of bodies. I don't know.
Electing not to use a tee, just going off the drop. And the kick is good. What a kick off the drop by Cy-Fair here. It's going to bring the score to Cy-Fair 7, Woodlands 5. Now, this dominant Woodlands roster probably isn't used to being in this position so early in the game. Granted, they're only behind by 2, but you know they're feeling it, and you know they're taking it personally.
Excellent work to Cy-Fair taking the lead early in the game. Woodlands typically isn't put under this much pressure at the very beginning, especially during a final game for playoffs.
I think the real question you've got to ask going into this, with the high pace that this game has been taking, are both teams going to be able to keep it up through the last 40? That's where things get a little more loose. This heat's going to wear down on them. And these little loose balls like this just can't keep happening if you want to maintain a coordinated offense.
Looks like we got a high tackle call. Favor to Cy-Fair Warriors, quick tap. Oh, excellent step.
Absolutely. What's really interesting is you can tell by how this Cy-Fair backline is lining up. They're keeping it a very narrow channel here. Cy-Fair has every intention of just slamming the ball over and over into the same channel.
We got a fake switch.
Yep.
Crash up the middle. Excellent tackle, Woodlands.
Very good man-on-man
Good
tackle
defense.
here.
Way to read that tackle.
Might hear a little playing on the ground here. I think that army crawl is generally frowned upon if you keep moving the ball. Bonus points for creative play, I suppose.
That's right.
Having talked with Woodlands. Again, we've seen a lot of penalties against Woodlands here. It's got to be part nerves, part being behind right off the bat. And Cy-Fair keeping this game super physical while maintaining their cool. It's going to work out in their favor if Woodlands can't get their head about them.
Free kick to Cy-Fair approaching 22. Cy-Fair will look to find touch. And line out Cy-Fair.
Absolutely. It's going to give Cy-Fair some good field positioning to go back to that super physical style and just try to slam it down the Woodlands' throat. Woodlands are going to have to adjust, get used to everything coming off the corners of these rucks if they're going to want to stop this Cy-Fair offense. Super physical. Looks like it was driven out to touch again. Woodlands looking like they like getting creative with these lineouts. Has that been an MO of theirs, or is this a new strategy? Oh, whistle brings it back. Hate to see that for Cy-Fair. Some good quick stepping coming through and immediately stopped.
Woodlands will look to find touch inside their own 22.
Not favorable winds for this kick.
That's right.
We might see a little sacrifice in distance just to make sure they get it to touch and it's not recovered.
Ball Ball did not find touch, just caught by Cy-Fair. We have a breakaway.
And that's what you got to worry about. Now you have a Woodlands defense is complete. Disjointed. Cypher number 7 is doing a great job of taking advantage of.
A lot of vertical gaps in the Woodlands defense as they expected to find touch and didn't find it on the kick because of the winds.
Yeah, and it should be noted how good this Cy-Fair support is coming through. We're not seeing a lot of fancy ball work coming in, but every single tackle, you've got 3 to 4 Cy-Fair players coming in to secure that ruck, make sure the ball doesn't get turned over. Excellent run on the outside. Oh, good man-on-man tackle. But again, this Cy-Fair support is going to keep the Woodlands from regaining possession of that ball. Now, usually you'd have to wonder if Cy-Fair might be overcommitting to these rucks. They are putting a lot of pressure into these rucks. But it's working out for them so far. Again, a little extracurricular going on the field.
Both teams super physical, looking to just jump over the try line by crashing it in with forwards.
Yeah, and we talked about it before. Cy-Fair is sniffing at another try here, and you know they want to get this early lead on and extend it from the Woodlands. There we go. It was another penalty. That'll be Woodlands' kick. It's not what Cy-Fair needs when they're in the danger zone like that. Kick is recovered by Woodlands. A small breakaway here. And Cy-Fair very smart to drive them out of bounds here. So what's different here, we're seeing Cy-Fair spread the field pretty deep here. It looks like they might be trying to spin it straight out and take advantage of this disjointed back line. Line going straight into contact.
Ball out to Keone. He's got his back line set. Excellent pass to the center.
And we've heard Keone's name a lot through this game.
Oh, he's a workhorse of a player. He always has been. Even from Texas to when times I've played against him, he's just he does a lot of work, whether it's in the forwards or in the back line. He utilizes his passing ability as well as his physicality. He's a well-rounded player. Quick tap Cy-Fair. And looks like they will try to find touch.
We've seen a lot of penalties coming in through this game and a lot of work by the forwards on both sides. You got to worry, are they going to tire themselves out too fast? Is this going to turn into a backs-intensive game in the second half?
Cy-Fair finds touch. Line out Cy-Fair.
Cy-Fair's kicking game hasn't been quite where they wanted right now, at least in these penalties. They're going to have to tighten that up if they want to get better field positioning. Really be advantageous for them to be able to get back into the danger zone and hammer away. That is a hard man to bring down. Something that I'm sure a lot of our viewers here don't necessarily keep in mind. A lot of these high schoolers are having packed schedules already without rugby. I mean, classes, extracurricular, rugby on top of that. You've got some dedicated men out there really just pouring everything they have to make sure their rugby careers keep going.
Ooh, excellent grubber by Kieran.
Absolutely, it was a good kick through. Cy-Fair was smart to recover it there. Again, just pouring numbers into these rucks, making sure ball is secure, and just continuing to hammer down on the corners of these rucks. Referee getting a lot of whistle workouts here. Making sure the thing works, it does, in spades.
Free kick to Woodlands. Not releasing in the ruck. Woodlands like to find touch. Ball once again does not find touch due to the winds.
It's hard. You hate to give up what feels like good field positioning to get a short little kick out into touch, but you can't keep letting Cy-Fair recover these balls and get runs into a disjointed defense.
Especially a team. Oh, excellent offload.
Great
Keone.
support and speed on the side.
I believe that should have been a high tackle call.
Yeah, it gets a little hard. Refereeing is definitely a thankless job. They can't see everything.
Especially at weird angles. People are in the way. They got to run down the field.
Of course, and it should be noted that, you know, the classic rugby doesn't have rules. We have laws, and laws are open for interpretation. So, what we see as a high tackle might look a little different on the ground. When we say that,
I believe the ref did catch the high tackle. He's having a word with Captain Karen. And a yellow card is issued.
He's on the move. You hate to see that.
Number 10, Kieran, looks to be going to the sin bin. Kieran Farmer's had an interesting history here. Excellent player. Had a knee injury, came back off of a torn ACL. Really bounced back. Now he's playing in New Zealand, and this summer he's an excellent player. This is detrimental to the Woodlands backline and their team as a whole.
Yeah, it's really looked like of all the people to go off, Kieran's the last man you want. When you have a young man that's performing that well and well enough to be invited to play around in, you know, the hearth of rugby in New Zealand over there, that's just really not who you want to see on the sidelines. Cy-Fair will do well to dot a try down while they're up a man. Woodlands players got to be careful coming to the side. Oh, man, that is a big prop just trucking on through.
Prop Jorge Torres breaking through. There we
and
go.
Sneaking around the outside.
Try time, Cy-Fair.
It's Jacoby, though. That's not the actual 15. It's Jacoby.
And we're being told it was Jacoby that got it in there. Our rosters might be a little bit off here.
He's not even on there. That's him.
Great work around the corner all the same. It's going to bring the score quickly to Woodlands 5, Cy-Fair 12.
Cy-Fair has always been a really powerful team with a good umbrella. You know, their fullback, both wings have always been very fit, very athletic guys who typically score tries around the corner, so that was a good job.
Stylistically, the Woodlands are having trouble adapting to this. It's looking like Woodlands want to play the ball out wide, and they're not liking this super physical inside game. Cy-Fair are putting the Woodlands forwards through their paces. Woodlands probably having the larger pack, but Cy-Fair keeping them on their heels. And we are rejoined by Griffin here.
Yeah, one of the things I've seen through the season is the Woodlands have been able to dominate pretty much every team by getting the ball out really wide. It's something that they've always kind of prided themselves on. But with the defense intensity that Cy-Fair brings to the players and able to shut down and bring two guys to each ruck to counter ruck, it makes it a lot harder on the Woodlands to get the ball out. Very competitive game. It's easily one of the most aggressive matches of the year in Rugby, Texas.
Absolutely, and it's great to be out here to see it at this beautiful Huns field. Super well maintained. Huns, of course, jumping on the newly announced Major League Rugby scene that's coming out. I'm sure there are a lot of Huns representatives out here keeping an eye on these high school teams, seeing what kind of talent is coming up through the Texas system, and trying to snipe a few players to remind them once they're done with college that the Huns will be professional and will be waiting for them.
Yeah, speaking of that, Keone Francis from Cy-Fair is going to be playing with the Austin Huns next year when he graduates high school.
That is fantastic. Do we know, is he going to college out here, or is this just a transition straight into Major League Rugby?
I know he's going to be going to college somewhere in Austin, but I know that he will be playing a part of the Austin Huns alongside his brother.
which is really neat to see. I mean, you will probably wind up seeing this a lot more as this Major League Rugby experiment continues to take off, players coming through and being treated more like what we are used to in the traditional sense of professional sports in the U.S. These top-tier players being scouted straight out of high school. It's a great opportunity from them. Get a lot of international eyes on them as well. Get them in this top-level U.S. rugby scene and hope to transplant and bring more talent to the States.
I mean, that's the beautiful thing about rugby. It could take you anywhere in the world that you want to see. It can open up so many doors for you that you've never been able to have before. You meet so many great people, and you make so many great friends for life.
We talked about Keane's brother being here at the Hunts. I don't suppose that'd be Maui Francis.
It is.
Maui's a local favorite here, playing on the elite side. He's come a long way after joining the Hunts not too long ago.
Yeah, he kind of progressed to the lower division teams for the Austin Huns and made his way up to the first side. He's doing really great. Keane's trying to follow in his footsteps.
Absolutely, that'll be a line out back over to Cy-Fair. That's another thing we really like to see in rugby here is families getting involved, making it a tradition. These guys are getting younger and younger when they start. Back when I was coming up through the system, Nick came from the Katy Barbarians. I grew up in Katy as well. The Barbarians, you knew one out of every maybe 1,000 people had even heard of them. Now you've got guys that are starting out when they're 6, 7, and 8, and it's just great to see them coming up through the system and seeing these products coming through and having a target to shoot for with this Major League Rugby being established.
Yeah, loose ball. Cy-Fair
Unlucky
regains
knock
possession.
there.
One of the things you can see through the game is even though that Cy-Fair has the lead, you can still kind of see the panic in their play because there's no ruck where the Woodlands will not be counter-rucking, trying to put pressure and turn the ball over. It's one of the things that Woodlands pride themselves on, as well as Cy-Fair. Two of the best defensive teams in the state.
Absolutely, and I think it's worth noting, we've talked about it a little bit here, but Cy-Fair's been just pouring numbers into their rucks, making sure that ball does not get turned over. Do you think that's a direct result of this Woodlands playing style, or are they trying to adapt, or is that just where Cy-Fair shines?
This is what Cy-Fair prides themselves on. This is how their coaches has taught them to get the ball.
What a drive by Cy-Fair. Ball's taken outside. Good movement onto the wing. Oh, not releasing from the ground. That is unfortunate. Great ball movement by Cy-Fair. The Wings haven't been able to stretch their legs much through this game. It's been a very forwards dominant.
And it looks like Cy-Fair kept possession.
Yeah, good on him.
Woodlands are really giving it all they got in their own 5 meters.
Yep, Cy-Fair taking every meter they can the hard way.
It looks like Cy-Fair scores another try.
Oh, nope.
Nope.
I think our
No, let me
referee just
take
called
that
diving
back.
in. Yep, that was diving in by Cy-Fair. That's going to be a penalty towards the Woodlands here.
It's going to be a free kick coming from Evan Conlon. Looks like he's going to find touch.
Yeah, he's been struggling
And the
with
ball
that through the
stays
game.
inside. Oh, but has an unlucky bounce out. Ball's going to be going. That's the end of the half.
That was a super exciting half that we saw coming into this. I believe our score is still sitting at Woodlands 5, Cy-Fair 12. And the score isn't really indicative of what's been happening through the game. This has been physicality through the roof. Both teams are just fighting tooth and nail for every last inch that they can get here. Woodlands just struggling to tone down that adrenaline and put a cohesive offense together.
Did they score? Oh, they did? Are you sure? No, they didn't.
So players will take their half here. We'll switch sides, and we will rejoin you on the other side of this halftime.
over. Relax. Okay. 3 minutes on the bench, gentlemen.
Go, man on the ball! Man on the ball! Ready, boy? Not 10! Not 10! Not 10! Oh, sorry, sir. I was yelling at my boys.
Obi Trice. Real name, no gimmicks.
Come on, Woodlands. Oh.
And we are back for the second half of Woodlands and Cy-Fair. Woodlands, of course, looking to come back from this 7-point deficit. Cy-Fair trying to maintain this high physicality going through the game. I am Kevin McKitterick, and Griffin is with me once more. Griffin, what do you think about the game so far? What have you seen out there that you like?
As I said earlier, it's one of the most physical games I've seen this year. Both teams just really want it. They've worked all season for it. All the players have been very dedicated. They've done what they needed to do to get here, and they're looking to progress in the championship. The South Conference for Rugby Texas has been very competitive. A lot of big guys, a lot of really great athletes coming out. Just really good quality rugby. It's been a pleasure to play with them.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure to watch this, too. You usually don't see this kind of intensity from younger players. These breakthroughs, these drives through the defensive line. It's really great to see by Cy-Fair.
And Steinalper's taking the tap. He was a good dummy, dragging a few Cy-Fair warriors with him.
Absolutely. That's a whole lot of number 8 coming through.
Loose ball by the Woodlands, but diving over. Free kick goes back to the Woodlands.
Ooh.
It looks like we have a kicked ball.
And official having a quick conversation with the lock here.
Appears to be a bit of a dispute. Ball going back to the Woodlands for the free kick. It's going to be taken by Ian Martinez. Ian Martinez, too, has been a really great player. He also tore his ACL last year. He's been coming off of injury and injury, but he's still coming out and producing great quality rugby for the Woodlands.
Which is good to see. This big number 8 has just been fighting through for the Woodlands. Woodlands looking to take back control of this game. They had such a strong start, and then Cy-Fair came and popped them in the mouth a couple times, and Woodlands struggled to recover.
Yeah, especially with the yellow card, Kieran Farmer sitting out, so they put Evan Conlon at 10.
And this is sort of what we expected to see coming out in the second half, is Woodlands trying to play more of their game, getting the ball to the outside, and not letting Cy-Fair keep the game super physical with just the forwards in a 10-meter channel.
I mean, that's the beauty in it from the
Oh, what a block! That's going to be raced down to the try zone. Cy-Fair does well to recover that. What a block on that kick, and a chase by the Woodlands.
Looks like Kieran Farmer's coming back in the game from the yellow card. I'm glad the Woodlands are going to have him back.
And that's something to know. Woodlands put this offense together. This whole drive has just been off of 14 players. Kieran, being the strong player that he is going to bring a whole other dimension to this Woodlands offense, especially if they keep spinning it out wide and letting their speed go to work for them.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of playing with Kieran for 3 years. Just an absolute great guy, great player, able to move the ball well. I think he plays the game like more smoothly than any fly half I've ever seen play in high school.
Which of all positions, having that at fly half is just absolutely invaluable. And of course, fly half being more of the quarterback for the team, really directing traffic, letting people know where they should be.
He's a great leader. He has great composure. He's never really whenever he's under pressure, he always handles it very well. A very good kicker, knows where to place the ball, can pass the ball, run well, and especially tackle well. You'll see him go up against really big guys twice his size and be able to bring him down and counter it. Just a very impressive player.
Which again is great to see coming out of these high school programs. This is exactly what people want to see coming up through high school, college, and hopefully going on to the big leagues as they're being established and spreading across the country. As rugby continues to grow, it's great to have this sort of talent bolstering it along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like the ball's going to be going to the Cy-Fair Warriors for the line out. Ooh, Keone Francis
mishandle
drops it. Looks like there's advantage towards the Woodlands. Knock on by Cy-Fair, so it's going to be scrum to the Woodlands. This is where the Woodlands are dangerous. Whenever they get a little bit of momentum going, and if they're anywhere remotely close to the enemy's goal line, that's where they attack.
And it looks like, from what we've seen so far, the Woodlands were able to take a breath at this halftime, really step back, realize they were getting sucked into the game that Cy-Fair wanted them to play and not playing their own style. They were struggling to keep up with Cy-Fair doing what Cy-Fair wanted to do. Now it looks like Woodlands are taking the time to do what they want to do. And Cy-Fair's having the same trouble. They're not using this ball spinning out. Woodlands finding gaps in the defense here. Kieran coming back on the field and really making his presence known. Cy-Fair knowing the Woodlands are just creeping up on the try line here, getting super physical coming through.
Oh, it's going to be advantage towards the Woodlands on their own 5.
That's what happens. You get a little too excited. Really. Oh,
Another
no.
yellow card. Going to James Lukey from the Cy-Fair Warriors.
Lukey, of course, being one of the Cy-Fair's all-star players here. That, again, not who you want to see coming out.
Oh, it's going to be a try from the Woodlands from Stein Alpers, number 8.
And what a drive coming from the Woodlands coming through there. Again, this team looks absolutely reinvigorated. We'll bring the score to a quick 10 Woodlands, 12 Cy-Fair with the kick, looking to even that out.
It's got to be nerve-wracking for Cy-Fair.
Absolutely. We've just seen so much good ball movement from the Woodlands here. Again, spreading that ball out wide, finding the gaps in the defense, and that's what makes for good rugby, what Dallin Sanford would call champagne rugby coming through here.
The conversion is good from Evan Conlon.
Splits it.
Splits it right down the middle, making the score even 12-12.
And this is not where Cy-Fair wanted to be. Cy-Fair fought very hard for that early lead, and they were hoping that would carry them into the half with a little more momentum than it has. That yellow card is going to cause them a lot of trouble down the line. Woodlands, of course, recovering from their own yellow and really making it known that they are not just going to sit back and be hammered by this big Cy-Fair offense.
Yeah, it's a challenge to determine which team really has the upper hand coming into this game. They both really, really want it, so it's just going to come down to the last few minutes. With the Woodlands' ability to move the ball and the Cy-Fair's just aggressiveness and the rucks and tackles, it's going to be a really interesting half. Very exciting play.
Absolutely, and again, expect the Woodlands to be trying to move this ball around. They've done a great job of taking advantage of Cy-Fair's backline, not figuring out how to really get together and work defense as a unit. Keep finding these holes. Oh. Might have been lost forward there. No whistle.
Oh, nice grubber from Kieran Farmer. He's chasing it. And it's recovered by the Cy-Fair Warriors.
But Kieran stops him.
Eugene Bitzer recovers the lost ball, Woodlands ball. Oh, but there's a knock-on coming from the Woodlands. Look, it's going to be scrum to Cy-Fair.
Again, Woodlands just really lighting the fuse on this, finding holes. Kieran putting them through with that little grubber. Great job recovering, great tackling. If they start tightening up on these little mistakes, then we should see this score expand very quickly.
That's one thing Cy-Fair has to do, just keep their composure, play their own game, and play the defense the way that Woodlands is playing. You cannot play your own game and expect to beat the opponents, especially a high-powering team like the Woodlands.
Now, you played with both of these teams out here, played with a lot of these guys out here. What do you think Cy-Fair needs to do to start containing this Woodlands offense?
Well, I think Cy-Fair needs to play to their advantages. So the best thing that Cy-Fair is able to do usually is the aggressiveness in the tackles and in the rucks. They're very good at counter rucking. So they need to stop playing the gaps and play on the man. They need to just play the role in the system and bring a few guys to every single tackle. Really pump up the aggressiveness.
Yeah, and you saw it in that scrum right there. Oh, Cy-Fair recovers off that kick. Unbelievable run.
Being chased down by Eugene Bitzer. Is he going to catch
Looks
him?
like
And
he
does
will
not.
make it. What a try by Cy-Fair. That was the kind of run we like to see. Look at that recovery coming through. He scoops it up and just cruises. Didn't miss a step going down the field. Right when Woodlands was feeling like they had this game in hand, Cy-Fair comes back and says, not today. That will bring the score up to 17 Cy-Fair, Woodlands 12.
And that's what I'm saying. You could see anything from this game. That was just an absolute great break, and the Woodlands had an unlucky few missed tackles that allowed the Cy-Fair Warriors to take the try, but an excellent run.
Absolutely. That all started off, like you were just saying, Cy-Fair being aggressive. That scrum coming through, even though Woodlands pack has the size from the looks of it, Cy-Fair is fighting through every single scrum and punishing the Woodlands for sitting back on their heels.
Yeah, they did what they're best at. They brought a few guys into the tackle, turned the ball over, and were able to take it about 60 meters for a try. Just an absolutely great run. Looks like the number 8 from Cy-Fair Warriors are going to be taking the conversion, and it looks to be good. Making the score, Cy-Fair Warriors 19, the Woodlands 12.
Yep, and again, Woodlands finding themselves in a position they're not familiar with. It's also worth noting that Cy-Fair has been doing all of this without one of their star players. They have done a great job picking up the pace while that yellow card is in action.
Kieran Farmer's going to be taking the restart.
Kieran's really got to pull his team together, use that leadership ability. Another kick trying to take advantage of the Woodlands in the back.
Ball again by Evan Conlon.
Yeah, but
Good
Cy-Fair
footwork.
is there to stop him.
Very close to the touchline. Looks like the Woodlands keeps the ball. An advantage to the Woodlands, free kick. Ian Martinez is going to be taking it.
And the touch and go. Going straight into traffic. Might have done a little better to move that ball around.
And a hard stop from the Woodlands. Kieran Farmer gets the ball out. Takes it back for a crash inside. Oh!
Man, Cy-Fair knowing they screwed up there.
Another free kick going to the Woodlands.
Looks like they're going to slow down this one and actually take the kick.
Yeah, you see in these high-stake games, there's a lot of frantic playing going on at some points. No team really wants to make the mistake.
Yeah, I will say Woodlands seem to be doing a little better under pressure here in this second half. All these penalties are coming out in Woodlands' advantage. They're taking their time, again, trying to play their game, moving the ball around. Cy-Fair smart to take little opportunities to put the Woodlands backline under pressure with these kicks and don't let them get that good cohesive offense marching down the field.
It's going to be Alano to the Woodlands. Jack Holdsworth going up for it, and he makes the catch. Getting it back out to Cipriano Save, but it's knocked on, unfortunately. Taken back by Hunter Wilhelm.
Well, referee did blow that one up. Didn't think Cy-Fair had the advantage there.
Oh, unlucky grab by Cipriano. It's going to be a knock-on advantage going to the Cy-Fair Warriors back in their own 22.
Yeah, every now and then you'll find yourself out there. Your feet will get a little bit ahead of your hands, and that can't happen. Cy-Fair can't let the Woodlands regain possession here. Again, this Cy-Fair pack, look at this push. Like the Woodlands aren't even there.
Oh, but the Woodlands regain the possession. Going in for a try, and the Woodlands score.
Right, great movement, great recovery by the Woodlands. Cy-Fair unlucky with the ball handling. They haven't been playing the ball out very much. It just looks like they're a little rusty inside there.
Back and forth game. Very exciting to watch.
That bobble. Woodlands takes over with that one extra movement on the ground. Touches it down.
Yeah, Cy-Fair Warriors still without James Lukey, one of their best players.
That makes sense.
Who was your score? 21.
We'll see this kick right in front of the post again.
And just great kicking today from Evan Conlon, putting the ball exactly where it needs to be. been taking kicks for touch and conversions, and he's just been doing amazing.
Yeah, a little unlucky kicking into the wind, but he's definitely redeemed himself with these conversion kicks.
And this is where it's crucial. These games can come down to the last few points, and games can be decided by these last few kicks. Great ability to kick under pressure.
And the pressure doesn't look to lighten up anytime soon. We're sitting at 19-19 right now. Again, both teams super physical coming into the second half. Both teams doing a great job of keeping the pace up. Stylistically, we're starting to see the advantages and disadvantages of both teams here. You just hate to see little mistakes like that knock on right in front of your own try zone.
Ooh, and the ball is bouncing around. Oh, and there's going to be a
Cy-Fair tackle.
There's going to be a knock-on from the Woodlands. The ball going to Cy-Fair. That is very unlucky. It's actually a free kick to the Cy-Fair Warriors.
He's going to take the tap and go. They're going right back into this physical play style, just wanting to cram the ball down the Woodlands' throat. They're doing a great job of getting these tackles and putting the pressure on the Woodlands' backs. The Woodlands' backs don't really know how to respond to these big boys coming screaming down their throats here. Ooh, Woodlands doing a great job of responding to this pick-and-go play style here.
Aggressive play in the rucks from both sides. No teams want to give it up. Great defense coming from the Woodlands. Really driving the Cy-Fair Warriors back. The ball goes out. Oh, and a missed ball. But the Cy-Fair Warriors regain the ball.
Good to recover. They have got to stop losing those balls like that. They're doing a great job of marching the ball down the field, and then little mistakes like that are going to just punish them in the long run here.
The ball's going to go to the Woodlands.
This is exactly what they want to see, and exactly what Cy-Fair does not.
And both teams really banking on the other team's mistakes. It could just be one slip up, and it can cost a try.
Absolutely, and it should be noted, the Woodlands did a great job of adjusting to what we've seen Cy-Fair do this whole game, getting that real physical off the ruck, coming in through the corner style.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be even more competitive game. The yellow card time expires, so James Lickey returned to the play for the Cy-Fair Warriors. And he really has been a hybrid back. He's been able to play anywhere from fly half to 12 to wing to fullback. He's just really a great player, a great guy to work with.
And you got to be sweating a little bit as the Woodlands. If Cy-Fair's been putting together this kind of offense without their star player sitting in the back line, what's going to happen now that he's in?
Well, it's Cy-Fair's dynamic ability to be able to run the ball with the forwards, crash them in, bring in all the defenders, and then swing it out and be able to use their backs to their advantage. I mean, the Cy-Fair backs are very deadly, very athletic, know how to run great lines. Looks like there's a bit of confusion going on in the rucks, and it's going to be a free kick to Woodlands. Stein Alper's taking the ball. Going in with a lot of great Woodland support.
And again, I think we're about to have a conversation about not going 10 back.
Keone Francis meeting with the referee. Looks like there's a bit of confusion coming from the Cy-Fair Warriors. The penalty is going to be going to the Woodlands.
I'm sure Maui's watching from home. Keone expects a earful whenever he gets back.
Yeah, Keone's been one of the best people to be able to work with. I started playing HP the same year as he did, and it's been kind of great. It's been really great to be able to grow and become a better player with him. I've always been kind of the matchup against Keone since we have very similar builds. So it's been great to kind of duke it out on the field, and it's always very competitive when we play against each other. But at the end of the day, he's one of my greatest friends I've met through rugby.
And that's what's great about that sport, and I feel like a lot of people miss out just watching the game, is as physical and as at each other's throats as everybody is on the field right now. Once it's over, we're all just rugby players. Everyone's out here loving the game.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the beauty of the game.
Oh,
On the ref
man,
pulls
we
out a yellow
got
card.
Another yellow.
1940, Scott, 1940.
I missed what happened here. This is just adrenaline going through.
1940 on the card.
Cy-Fair obviously super unhappy about Woodlands fighting back, taking advantage of those mistakes.
It looks like it's going to be a yellow card for the Cy-Fair Warriors, their second one. Very unlucky to them, especially in this crucial time during the game. They're going to need every one of their players out there to defend the big Woodlands forwards coming up for the pick.
Yeah, and you just can't keep doing this. Playing a man down through the entire game is really just hamstringing your team's efforts to move on to the next round here. We are in the championships right now. This is really not the time to be letting that play get so loose that you're getting thrown off the field. Woodlands wanting to put the pressure on and kicking for points here.
Kicks
Talked about earlier this.
Evan Conlon.
He's been pretty on point with his kicking for points.
The kick is up. And it's going to be
And
good
it's
for
good.
Woodlands, making the score 22-19 Woodlands.
Now,
That
as small of an advantage as that 3 points seems like, that's a huge mental issue for Cy-Fair going into this, because now they know we're sneaking up on the end of the game and we are behind. So expect this physicality to really start shining through. They've just got to keep it under control. They cannot lose any more players if they want to stand a chance of coming back into this game.
Yeah, with a player going out and the Woodlands just making the kick, it's got to be hard on the Cy-Fair's mindset, finishing out the game. But that's one of the things that Cy-Fair is best at. They're able to keep their composure a lot of the times and be able to just really dominate and come out and make breaks like they do out of nowhere.
This is where you're going to see the team's individual leadership coming through. You've got to be able to make sure your team keeps their head on straight and doesn't get angry, doesn't get upset. And a great find by Woodlands here. Busting through, really stretching his legs, turning around the outside, still can't be brought down. Gonna take 3 men to bring down one. What a run by the Woodlands.
Cy-Fair is back in their own end.
It looks like they might have regained control here.
Oh, and the ball is knocked on by Cy-Fair, so the ball is going to be going back to the Woodlands in their own, in Cy-Fair's own 22.
I saw the score there. Ball may take 8 minutes, so they just missed a conversion.
Man, some excellent movement coming through from the Woodlands. Again, this is the type of play that we like to see from them, getting that ball out wide, finding the gaps in the defense, moving around. But going back into the scrum, Cy-Fair smart to try to recover here. Uh-oh, loose
The
ball.
ball is dropped by Eugene Bitzer, but it is recovered by the Woodlands. Maybe switching out to Nick Marsico. All right, Nick.
And Nick, welcome back here. What do you think of the game going on so far?
Well, just some insight. I think these teams are both just banking off each other's mistakes. You know, it's a windy day. The ball's flying around a lot, and there's a lot of drop balls that the teams are taking advantage of. Yeah, it's resulted in some costly tries by each team.
Now, you've been around these teams both for a long time. So what we're seeing, is this a result of nerves of being in the championships and just really wanting it, or has this been plaguing these teams for a while?
Well, I think it's I think both teams are just getting tired, and it's really a test on their fitness. But absolutely, there's a lot of pressure on both these teams to go ahead and make it to the finals and take home a championship.
Stretch Cy-Fair coming into this only being D1 for 3 years now, I believe we discussed. And you can tell there has just been a ton of grit from both sides here. Neither one relenting. It's just, like you said, little mistakes that the other team is capitalizing on that's really making this game.
That's right. I think the Woodlands have realized that Cy-Fair being a relatively new team and all, are really dominant with their forward pack, and they haven't worked in their centers as much defensively, which is why the Woodlands were able to run some good lines and find some gaps, some vertical gaps out in the back line rather than in the forwards.
Yeah, they definitely found their targets here for the offensive attack. It does seem, though, that walking into this game, you could say Woodlands might have underestimated their opponent coming into this. I don't think they were expecting to get hit in the jaw over and over and over like Cy-Fair's been doing.
I think being a team with an impressive track record and just being undefeated overall this season so far, they were kind of coming into this game with a bit of confidence as opposed to Cy-Fair, who lost them earlier in the season. Ooh, big hit coming in from the Woodlands, but it is a free kick. Free kick at the mark to Cy-Fair.
Again, we saw this the other way around towards the beginning of this half here, where silly penalties just keep popping up, letting the Woodlands march down the field. Now it's Cy-Fair's turn to come back.
Good. Cy-Fair has entered the other team's 22. Looking to score.
And this is where we've seen Cy-Fair be so good through the game, is keeping small channels of play about 10 meters wide and just utilizing their forwards, their big pack to just hit through, hit through, hit through.
It's been giving the Woodlands a hard time. They got a really powerful pack. They always have. Excellent.
Oh, man, great movement from Cy-Fair. James Lukey coming through just short of the try line. Cy-Fair doing a great job with these rucks again. Looks like Woodlands is fighting for the ball in there.
Cy-Fair knocking on the door at the 5-meter.
And they're just going to try to march it in. They've been doing it this whole game. This is not the time to quit. Good work by Cy-Fair here. You see that Woodlands defensive line really tightening down, and they just have to be inches outside of dotting this one in.
Excellent run by outside center James Leakey. Way to find that goal.
And that's the try by Cy-Fair.
Try time, Cy-Fair Warriors.
That's going to put them back in the lead. And we have an interesting game now. With the kick, that makes the scores uneven. So every time somebody scores, it means you have to score back if you want to get ahead. Kicking game's not going to do it for him.
It's only a 2-point game. Win should be a factor on this kick.
Absolutely. Cy-Fair doing a really good job of setting it up for an easier kick here, though.
This is absolutely anybody's game.
George, was that you? George! George! Who scored? George
Kick is no good.
Unlucky kick. That will keep it at 2 points. Which means Woodlands can march back down and kick again.
Kick was pulled over to the right a bit.
Now this is going to put the pressure on Cy-Fair. Everyone out on the field knows that we're nearing the final minutes of the game. With how dangerous this Woodlands kicking core has been, you cannot let them get within striking range of regain that lead.
Woodlands really should attempt to put some numbers on the board as we approach full time. They're very close within reach.
Again, we've seen such great performance from every time they've seemed to put a boot to the ball. They're making something happen with it. Both teams' ball is just going wild here. And again, just gaining meters every time they get the hands on the ball here. Woodlands marching up, a little mishandle here. See if their offense can reorganize. Oh, that looked like a panic kick. Stayed in somehow. Great work by the Woodlands.
Excellent support by outside center Eugene Bitzer. Actually relatively new to the game. Started playing 2 years ago. I was committed to play football for the Coast Guard.
This is definitely the kind of guy you want on your team. And this will be a penalty towards Cy-Fair, kicking for touch again. Again, Cy-Fair sitting on the lead right now, but not by enough to make them feel good about it. Expect them to keep the ball tight in the pack. Don't expect a lot of long passes at this point. Rule number 1 of rugby is retain possession, right? He who has the ball can score. So Woodlands are going to be fighting through every single ruck, trying to regain possession, get that kick in. There it is.
Woodlands tackles Cy-Fair out of bounds. Line out to the Woodlands. Now here's what I was talking about earlier. If Woodlands can utilize their back line, just try and find gaps in the weaker back line of the Cy-Fair. Backs like Kieran, number 10, and outside center Eugene Bitzer, excellent passing, excellent work. They can find a gap. You have an easy 5 points right here.
Yeah, we've seen Kieran and Eugene really shine throughout this game. The first half, they didn't get a lot of play. Again, Woodlands falling into Cy-Fair's trap of hammering every ball in. But
Excellent pass by the prop.
Yep.
It's not something you see. That is Sippy Save with the excellent pass out to the backs. Ooh, big hit by Keone Francis on Kieran Farmer.
and Keone being an absolute tool for these Cy-Fair Warriors here. Oh, good Lord, Woodlands still trying to fight through.
Number 8 Stein of the Woodlands drilling it in. Excellent support.
Now Cy-Fair has to be extra careful here. One, they obviously don't want to try to get dotted down. Two, if they get a penalty, Woodlands can kick for points. And that's going to be a huge problem for Cy-Fair. Look at them just fighting through here.
2:30. Yeah, I know. We pulled out the rules.
Cy-Fair not easily giving up those extra meters.
Absolutely not. And we talked about it earlier. This is where Cy-Fair likes to be. Inside the ruck, big hits coming through, not letting them gain an inch. Woodlands really need to utilize their backs. Looks like they have numbers on the outside here. And the ball is swung out. Oh, what a hit by Cy-Fair.
Should be a penalty try. He came in a little high on the tackle.
Absolutely, looked like got him around the neck. Taking that penalty try.
Refs are discussing.
Strong effort by Cy-Fair, but that's not what you want to see.
Woodlands will not kick a conversion due to the penalty try. That's an automatic 7 points as of this year. The changes in the rules of rugby, especially in Rugby, Texas.
Now we are in a position, it's 29-24. Cy-Fair absolutely needs to try to stay in this game. They need to get back there quickly. We are winding down in time here. This is the kind of game we were hoping to see out of this. Both teams playing like this is the championship match, which great for the spectators, great for the sport.
Bill.
Of course, this Woodlands leadership doing a good job. And full time is blown. That is an absolute heartbreak for Cy-Fair.
29-24. Woodlands are ecstatic with joy here.
They are through the roof, and hats off to them. Hats off to Cy-Fair. What a fight throughout that entire game. Hammering away, never letting up the pace. The gas was on through the entire 80 minutes here.
We got some emotions running through these Woodlands boys. It was an excellent, well-fought game, well-deserved. And the Woodlands remain undefeated as Cy-Fair very low in losses, very well-fought, as they very much deserve this position.
And Cy-Fair definitely feeling they gave that up in the last minute there, but they have nothing to be ashamed of here. Cy-Fair had an excellent game. Coming in against what most people expect to be a dominant performance by the Woodlands, Cy-Fair came out, performed, and really put the Woodlands to test here. Good on them. They should go home now, rest a little bit. I expect to see great things from most of these players next year. Those going on to college, I imagine we'll hear from them soon. And for this game, again, I've been Kevin McKitterick.
And I'm Nick Marsko.
Thank you very much for joining us here. We'll be back with you shortly for our next game.
just north of 290 on the right side.
Now all of a sudden it's a heart attack, man. Every game. Y'all don't want us to win every game.
Ground Plaza.
We only had he brought stuff, so we basically dropped it on the way back, and we went and filled up once.
What's up, Tom?
How about you?
All right.
Yep, it was fun. So we just did one drop, and that was it. And I told him, back in the carpet, I said, you got to back in the carpet, roll it, and see if it makes sense.
Oh my God.
Stay. Don't worry about it. If we need carpet next year, we'll get carpet.
Did you?
Tell them we'll get carpet next year. So.
Well, that's what I told him. I said, if it's staying, there's no reason to back.
Okay. So when you drive out, my car's right there. There's a shopping bag full of, it's got Goo Gone and wipes, Clorox wipes. So you may want to grab it at the back. Bye.
Go down in this corner. Bring the balls. Bring the balls. Let's go.
Hey, let's go. Here. Miller.
Let's go, boys. Here we go.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm the same way as Coach too.
We'd like to warm up for a little bit. I don't think that they got much of a warm up in their little corner. We didn't get much. They prefer